Hello and welcome to the Matriarchy. It's Kath and Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Hello, Kath. How are you today?
I am good. It's a cold December day, and today Lisa and I were going to do another What's on Our Mind. We always have a lot on our mind.
Yes, we do. And this December, we have extra on our mind because it's so cold and snowy here in Michigan, which I think a lot of the country is experiencing.
The holidays clearly are on my mind. We are going to go into like a year in review, but I want to start with one thing that a colleague said to me. We're just talking about a work thing, and she was asking what's going on, and I was like, "Oh, the holidays coming up, and y'all know I got 4 kids, and busy house." And she was like, "Well, just make sure that what you're doing is the stuff that actually means something to you." She's like, "So if you're baking cookies because you want to spend time with your kids, great. But don't bake cookies just because you think to make you have to bake cookies." And
Good
I was like,
advice.
"Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is good advice." And like for me, I do holiday cards because I really like doing holiday cards.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's been a big part of because I've moved around a lot since I was a young
Hmm.
girl,
Yeah.
and that was how I kept in touch with people. I also like writing. I like pictures. Like it's my jam, but it's a pain in the ass. Like
Mhm.
it takes a long time, but I do it because I want to,
Yeah.
even if some days I don't want to, but mostly I do it because I want to.
Yeah.
But I totally respect, like, if I just took that thing out of my process for like all holiday traditions, yeah, it would be a time saver. And so I totally respect people
Yeah.
that just don't send them anymore.
It's a touch and go thing for me. Some years cards get out, some years they don't. Often, if they do get out, they're New Year's cards because
Hmm.
by the time I get to the space where I've designed it and sent it to the printer, it's not going to get there in time for, for the holiday.
I have a
So,
friend who always sends a Valentine's one.
oh,
She
I
is
love
just
that.
like, I know. She's like, you know what?
She's
It is
thinking
not going to
outside the
get done
box.
for
She's like,
Christmas or New
yeah,
Year. Yes. And I appreciate that because it clearly is important to her. With social
yeah,
media and stuff, do you really need to do all this? Like, I don't know. But I will say my list is big
yeah.
because I also send it, even if people don't send me a card, if they've reached out, if we've had like a good connection over the year, if they're an
Mm,
elder family member who just, it would brighten their
yeah.
day to see pictures of some cute kids, like I send it. So I don't
I,
know. That's
I
part of my
think it's
overthinking.
meaningful. I think in the digital age, I think it's meaningful to get something in the mail on paper that's,
Yeah.
personal. And I think it does brighten and like you, when I do it, it is a lot for me because I do enjoy it and I do enjoy thinking about the various people I'm sending it to, people that mean something to me. And so yeah, I think it's a good tradition. But again, if you don't have time for it, digital also works, or maybe you just start thinking about the person and that's
Yeah.
okay
And
too,
I think
so
it's just part of how you connect with people. And,
yeah, yeah,
I think you got to accept how people connect with you as well. Like that can be a struggle sometimes, right? And,
yeah,
um, you know, over the years, our time ebbs and flows. And, when we're younger, friendships are everything, and then you got this family and you're in the trenches and you can lose track of people. But now I've found that we're making our way back. And
yeah,
the friendships that were true friendships are there. I feel like I could count on someone. I could call them out of the blue after not talking to them for a couple years.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I do always keep in mind, I don't, to me, it's not like if I send you one, you have to send me one because
Yeah.
everybody's in a different place and life is
Yeah.
hard, right? Like family members get ill, kids are doing a million projects, and I don't care what age they are.
Yeah.
You want to be there for them for whatever they're doing, even when they're adults. And so, those things are very important. And so I understand when people don't have time, but
Yeah,
I also do. I am actually planning on doing cards this year. So
you are.
I know.
Okay.
Well, I am planning. I'm very good at planning it. Whether I actually get it done.
Well, I will say too that this harkens back to one of the episodes that we did about when I went back to Spain this summer
Mm,
after 30 years. And I kept in touch very religiously with four now women, right? But we were girls. We were middle school
mm,
girls when we left.
yeah.
And we did Christmas cards for a long time. And then, a couple of them dropped off and whatever. And then I hadn't heard from this woman in over 20 years probably, right? And so when my other friends that we still send Christmas cards, or at least one of them still sends Christmas cards, when they were like, "Oh, Carmen would, she wants to meet up with us on Friday,"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's great." I didn't even know if I'd see her, and it was like picking up where we left off, and she was
That's
like,
cool.
I have to tell you, the reason I stopped sending Christmas cards, and she, kind of went into like she got divorced and it was a tough time. And I was like, Carmen, it's fine. Like, it's no big deal. She's like, no, I want to tell you why this dropped off. And
Yeah.
I have to say it felt like good,
Mm.
that she said she didn't have to, and I would have been fine just picking up. But she was like, you're an important person in my life. I dropped off, but I just want you to know that this doesn't affect our friendship. And then we went on to laugh for the next 3 days that we were together. And we had a very
That's
funny
so
story
cool.
that I probably can't share on the podcast. But I was like, yes, that tied, like when we were 13, something happened. And I was like, that ties us together forever.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so it's this power of connection. So whether you're sending
Mm,
a holiday card or not, I think that it's how you feel about people. And maybe you don't even always reach out. But when you do, I don't know, you got to meet people where they are. At the end of it,
absolutely.
you got to meet people where they are.
Absolutely. And what is the old saying? It's better to give than to receive. I mean, I think that's the point of it is you're giving something and like you said, telling someone that they're important to you. So,
It could be a quick text or a meme, right? Like I'm a
sure.
meme girl,
Yeah.
right? Like sending things.
Oh, the pebbling. They call that pebbling because that's what have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. But you can explain it.
Well, it's what penguins do when they care about other penguins. They bring little pebbles and drop them at their feet, and so that's what it's called.
Aw.
Especially when parents do it to their kids. I'm always sending my kids memes and videos. It's like I'm just pebbling for you today, honey.
Oh.
That's all.
Well, it's kind of like when little kids like pick a weed and they're like, "Here's a flower,
Right,
mom."
or the dandelion. It was always so
Like,
special. I was
oh.
always like, how do I capture this? It's so cute. But yes, exactly.
Yeah, let's talk about our year. So, it's been an interesting year, Lisa.
Has. And Kathy, you've been a big part of that for me. We started
You as
our
well.
business and it's been a journey, many pieces to this journey. Getting to know you better. I think we probably mentioned this in a previous episode. I mean, we knew each other, but I think we know each other a lot better
A
now.
lot better now.
Working
Yeah.
together in partnership has been just absolutely fabulous. And I think that I have also learned so much about what it is to put together a business,
Mhm.
and I'm
And
still learning.
this is not your first business either, though.
No, it's not. But it's my first business with a partner, so that's
Okay.
new for me.
Me too.
And and also it's a very different. It's adjacent to my other business, but it's still very different. And
Mm.
I think we chose to do some things that I wasn't originally comfortable with the podcast. Honestly, if you would have asked me like 5 years ago that I would ever be on a podcast, I'd be like, "Are you crazy?"
If you had asked me a year ago,
Yeah, a year ago.
it was just about a year ago that we, met for lunch that day.
That's right. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, it
it
was
was
December.
December. Yeah.
And it just felt really right. And we just jumped in and
Yeah.
went.
Well, I think it in some ways it was helpful that we um didn't know each other super well.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like when you go away to college and you don't know your roommate, and then
Yes.
it just works out really well because you're coming
Yes.
in it and you don't have like preconceived notions.
Right.
And then I think this business, this matriarchy has taken on a life of its own.
Yeah. It has.
I'd love to talk a little bit about too, like our like how we got here, right?
Mhm.
And when we first started talking, back in December, and then we were meeting like almost weekly in January and February, and like getting to know each other. And at first, it was just like talking about things that were important to us, and different issues, and how we saw the role of women, and I think what we wanted to do, and this podcast a little bit, it came off of this, but what we really wanted to do was create content about important issues so that we could reach people where they are, and in a hopefully in a fun way, right? And an
Mm.
educational way, and that they could share content. They could share our content. So share our content, listeners. And then we kind of grow that way in community and in matriarchy, and kind of started like, okay, how do we do this? Like, we're doing this on social media, which, you know, I know social media. Like, I've been using social media for a long time, but not like this,
Yeah,
right?
it's different when you're a creator, that's for sure. Yeah, it's been, that is kind of where we started, where we were going to originally focus on just digital creation, but then we ended up into this podcast, which has been just a fabulous journey, and there's been so many things that have come out of it that were unexpected. And so it definitely we're
Like what?
getting well, just, people contacting us like from other places outside of Michigan asking to be on our podcast. And we have more people that we're talking with for the future. So that just feels like it feels like an affirmation that we're on the right
Mm,
track, I guess. And
yes.
I think part of it is that we've hit a sweet spot, right? There's not a lot of women podcasters out there. And there's not a lot. I mean, there was that NPR, or not NPR study, but NPR did an article on it. There's a study about podcasting, and women are underrepresented in podcasting, both as
Surprise,
hosts and as
surprise.
guests. So I think, yeah, surprise. So I think we've hit sort of this sweet spot, which is attractive to other women to come and join us. And I think at this point, we're just trying to figure out how to best leverage that and sort of, you know, grow what we're doing here to reach more people, to bring out more content. And we have some thoughts about that for the coming year. So stay tuned,
Yay.
everybody. Yay. But yeah, it's been a journey. But yes, we originally just thought we would do this pro woman, pro democracy digital creation, and we still have so many ideas around that. It is, being a business owner. It's a lot of time. Like
It
there's a
does
lot
take
of
a lot
time
of
behind
time.
everything, and we still have our other stuff that we're doing. But I think more and more, my goal is as we go through the next year to spend more and more time on the matriarchy. So I'm excited.
Yay.
Yay.
Um, and I was going to say too, like, I think when we started, we really wanted to highlight issues and
Yeah.
build community. I think through the podcast, we've been able to uplift women doing things in a way that,
Yeah.
it might not translate so well. If you're not actually like interviewing someone and hearing someone in their own words, but you're seeing, I love being in production, I love hearing people's stories. I just didn't imagine I would be on this side of it with the
Yes.
in front of the mic.
Yes.
um, but it's been such an opportunity. Like I will say, like I've gone far out of my comfort zone, right? And I've learned
Yeah.
so much, right? Like technical skills, how to design a
Yep.
website, how to edit a podcast, like tackling that beast. And so it's been super rewarding and fulfilling to learn new skills.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, just the technical side of it.
Yeah.
But like meeting these women, I'm like,
I
I can't.
know. It's been amazing. All our guests have been absolutely amazing. And what a blessing. Like, I mean, I don't usually actually use the word blessing, but in this case it is a complete blessing that we had the chance to meet these women and hear their stories. And we had our one man too, which I can't forget
Yeah,
about. Joanne, he was wonderful. Um,
Joanne, love
but
them.
yeah, it's been really great. And I think the other thing is, I think when we first picked the name of the company and the podcast, the Matriarchy, I think we both had a little trepidation, right? Like, oh, how's this going to be received,
How's
right?
this gonna land? Yeah.
Yeah, and but what we're finding instead is kind of just the opposite. There's a matriarchy movement out there. I
Hmm.
mean, there's matriarchy talk on TikTok at this point. And there is just, there's just a lot of women and men who are ready for a quiet revolution in our culture,
I
um,
love that.
to move away from the patriarchal, competitive, hierarchical type systems to a more cooperative, loving type of system, more of a flat, type of system, which is what the matriarchy what it is, what it represents. And so we've kind of touched on something that is hot right now. And again, like we just want to keep talking about it. We have our detractors, of course. We have a few people on TikTok, few men, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe they're just bots, but who like to give us a hard time. But you guys just keep doing that because it helps our algorithm. Okay.
That's
So keep
right.
doing it. Helping us out, spreading the word. So, yeah.
Drive up our numbers. We're good with that.
Drive up our numbers. We don't mind at all.
Yeah. When I always carry around a healthy quantity of our business cards, and when I
Yeah.
meet people just in my day-to-day life in a coffee shop or a bookstore or wherever, and they really kind of strike me as someone who would like this, I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, by the way, and I give them a business card. I'm like, oh, we have a podcast and it's called the Matriarchy, and they're like, I love that name. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think we have really hit on something. Like, remember when we were in, we had brunch that one day when we were checking out locations because we do have something exciting coming up in the new
Yes.
year that we'll talk about later. But we were
Yes.
scoping out locations for this really special event that we're going to do in the spring. And the waitress was like, oh, I love
Oh,
that
yes.
name. And she was like, I'm going to pass this around to my coworkers. They'll love it. And yeah, I think we have hit on something
Yeah.
that is kind of just starting to bubble up.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Um, so that's exciting to be involved with it. But I think, you kind of hit on the biggest lesson of all this. And, same for me is like, it all felt daunting in the beginning, like, especially the podcast and everything. But it kind of goes back to just jump in and start doing these things.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got a dream or you've got, even an inclination of a dream, um, get, go and I think we've learned some lessons along the way. Some things are like,
Hmm.
okay, well that's working or this one's not working. Sometimes it's just like little minor stuff, how we tag a Facebook post or how but we're learning along the way too.
Yeah.
And it's just really it's empowering. It just feels like yeah, we're doing, I'm doing something. And so
Yeah.
I encourage the audience, our audience, to, find what that is. If you're not doing it already, whatever sparks you, like jump in, just jump in and get
Jump in.
going,
And
Yeah.
even if it's just you want to use your voice, but you're nervous to, find your
Yeah.
community to support you. And if you haven't found them, well, maybe you have because you're here and you're listening
Yeah.
to us, and we'll support
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Reach
We
out to
will.
us. We'll give you a pep talk. We'll give you an individual
Exactly.
pep talk. Lisa and I are good at that.
Did you need us to attend a Zoom? We could do that probably. We can fit it into our schedule. So,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
think we have had a chance to touch on issues, right? We've talked about
Mhm.
empowering women, of course, and what I find is interesting is like not just fighting against patriarchy, but like untangling the invisible
Mm. Yeah.
thread of patriarchy that still pops up in just really minor things like old movies we used to watch or language that we
Yeah.
used to say and that we don't say anymore. Like some things are evolving, but some things are like, oh, like I it and Lisa, to borrow your phrase, like once you see it everywhere and you can't unsee it.
You
I'm like,
can't. It's kind of
yeah.
painful, but it is what it
I
is.
don't know if it's
Yeah.
painful so much as like liberating. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't
It
just me. That's our
Oh,
culture
I
and
see.
that's what's
Yes.
reinforced
Yeah.
in our
No, that's
culture.
very true. That's very true. It is liberating. You're right. So, yeah. And it's just still happening. I mean, I think like it's so ingrained, obviously, it's so ingrained in our cultures. And the interesting thing is I think sometimes we forget living in the United States that we're actually more progressive than a lot of places in the world. Not the most progressive place anymore, for sure, but
Mm.
this is a worldwide wide issue. The patriarchy and
Yeah.
in the way that the cultures have been built. And in fact, I am asking for Christmas on my Christmas list. I just want to read everything about patriarchy and matriarchy. So,
Oh,
like my
really?
family, like, buy me books. I just need as many books as possible.
Okay.
I want to like study this more because the more we learn, the more we look at it. It's just so interesting. But like I was at a comedy show this week. It was a contest, and, it made me think about what one of our guests said about like how far, comedy has come for women, and it
Hmm.
has, but it's still really hard. And I definitely walked away from it where like, yeah, yeah. That is absolutely the case in this situation. Women have it much harder still. There's still this preference towards men in art. Well, as a mother of daughters in art, I've already known this. Like I had a,
Hmm.
a daughter who danced competitively for years, and she could just dance her little heart out. But as soon as the boy walked on stage, the one boy in the troupe, and he was the star, right? And so, there's just like women just have to, can still so much work harder than men to get the same or less than in terms of accolades, money, whatever. So, lot to unravel, lot to work on, but awareness
Hmm.
is the first thing. And yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So can we talk about who the comedian was? Because it was a former guest of ours, right, Lisa?
Yes, it was Diane Young.
Hey,
I went
Diane.
with my husband to support her in the contest. And ironically, my daughter's roommate was also in the contest.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, so it was lovely to see these two women just really do a wonderful set. They each did a wonderful set. So it was exciting to watch, but obviously, you could probably already surmise it didn't go the way we wanted it to go. Yeah,
But
yeah,
good for them to just get out
yes,
there, get on
yes.
stage. Like Diane had this whole career in finance. She ran for office, and now she is just throwing her hat in the ring and she is out there and she, doing her thing in comedy. As we talked with Lynn Harris a few episodes ago about just how important it is to just get out there and start, and women are underrepresented. So just seeing a woman have the stage is
Right.
important.
Right.
I know, women of all
Right.
ages, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, so and Diane she is exactly a great example just in terms of, she takes a project, she has an idea, a seed, and she goes. I mean, whether it's starting her own business or running for office, like you said, or now comedy. And I think she has some other I was talking to her and I think she has some other ideas. So keep an eye
Of
on
course she
Diane
does.
Young. So
Yeah,
yes,
of
she's
course she
great.
does.
And of course she does.
Yeah. So, but it's so inspirational. I would say every single guest that we've had, I've left going,
Me too.
wow,
Yeah.
that they have, they're very, either very knowledgeable. I've been impressed with every single guest. And maybe even more importantly, I've been inspired by the
Yeah.
work that they're doing
Yeah.
and ways that they're forwarding issues that are important to them. And then they see the connections, right? Like, from the Hudson Bay girls who are tying in environmental action with like their love for, canoeing and being outdoors, or whether you're talking about Tyra Moore and her husband that's founded A Girl Like Me, and they're taking these issues, you know, um, like these are serious issues, like young, very young girls who find themselves pregnant and in difficult circumstances. And they're just connecting them with the community. They're helping them on a day to day basis. And I really like that she's also starting a program in the schools for girls to learn more so that they don't end up in these circumstances, which it's, and I also found it fascinating that Tyra, who had a baby at 15, was it like
I
very
think
young,
very young. Yes.
she didn't let it end her life, even though people said this is the worst thing ever. And I'm sure it's difficult at any age to have a baby, but a girl having a baby, like it's a child having a child, right? Like, and what did she do? She turned that into service. She turned
Mm.
that into community. She is helping people around the world, not only in her community, but like it's branching out, and it really is like on the strength of her enthusiasm. And she didn't know where this is going to go. She just started one day, and when either she created opportunities or opportunities would come her way and she took them. And I
Right.
think that is a lesson that we can all gather from that, is like, if there's something you want to do, you can create the opportunity. If an opportunity falls in your lap and you're like, but I don't know, but like it's interesting to you, just do it. Like
Give it a
our co
try. You can
give
always,
it
yeah. Yeah,
what's
definitely.
the
I
worst that
mean,
could happen? What's the
what's the
best that
word?
could happen?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I
And it's not always, I mean, and if it's something's meant to be, it's not always necessarily super easy. Like there's this like
not
weird
meant to be.
thinking
It's
out
not meant
there
to
that
be
like,
easy.
yeah, I mean, it's still going to be work. And sometimes there's like, different, difficult people that you have to work with. And sometimes, I mean, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. Like it is worth it.
Yes.
Like I get lost in some of that sometimes, some of the drama of what some of the projects I work on outside of the matriarchy. I have my various projects. And sometimes I get lost in the drama. I'm like, man, this is hard. Like this is hard. Like why is there so much drama? And why are like people being hard on each other? Why are they being hard on me? And like and then I just have to sort of like pull myself out of it and like consciously pull myself out of it. Of course,
Mm.
I cannot be tired or hungry when I do this. I have to
We
have
got to take
all
care
my
of you.
physical needs met, but then I try to pull myself out of it.
Checklist,
And
like when you had a baby, like, am I
yes,
hungry? Am
I
I
mean,
tired?
yeah,
Am I
like,
thirsty?
yeah, like none of that. And then I can sit quietly and think, okay, why are you doing it? And like remind myself, what is the goal? like who am I trying to help? What policy am I trying to change? And
Mm.
sort of try to keep focusing on that. And then,
The
then
issue. Yeah.
yeah, the issue, that the reason, the goal, and know that you're always going to have drama. There's always going to be drama. And then I try to understand the people around me better and why they're maybe being hard on me. Maybe I did do something, right? Maybe I don't know. It could be a million things. But I think that's the thing. Like, I think sometimes people have this feeling like, oh, if it's meant to be, it's going to be easy. Like the path is just going to be there. It's like, no, not necessarily. Sometimes you gotta you do have to put that effort in. You do have to put the self-reflection in, and yeah. Because I
I
I was telling you earlier, I work with a lot, especially strong women,
yes.
and I like, Lisa, you need to be a strong woman too. Then, like, if you're gonna match their energy, you have to be as strong as they are, and so I try to work on that.
Well, me too. Well, I work with a strong woman too.
Yeah, well, me too.
But I think, I think we have modeled a matriarchy between us, at least for
Yeah,
us, right?
yeah,
Because we are two strong women who are doing this. Well, I hope. I don't know. I struggle with that sometimes, right? Boundaries and speaking up for myself and like,
it's a
just always going
journey.
to be a work in progress, right? But
Yeah, yeah,
I I think we've been respectful of each other's like where we're coming from,
yeah,
you know, how to move forward in a way that we're both comfortable, right?
yeah.
And it is a work in progress, and I'm glad, right? And it's not easy, but it's worth it.
It is worth it. It
So
is
if
worth it.
something's worth it to you, like I think I start every morning with like I listen to a guided meditation, and
Oh,
there's
nice. I did
always
not
a
know
certain
this about you, Kathy.
yeah,
Did
you
not
do.
know. Share.
Yeah.
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 So for me, I've gone through different people or different guided like meditators, but I've landed on in the Calm app, the Daily J.
Okay.
And so it's like 7 minutes long. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not a morning person. So for me, before I even get out of bed, I listen to this meditation. I'm like,
Oh,
bam, like,
that's
you know, I
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really helped in my reaction time, I would say. And
Yeah.
I've been doing it consistently for over 3 years now. Um, I
Wow.
will say, like, I found what works for me, which is I do it. I don't make time later in the day because I know I wouldn't.
Hmm.
But I do it even before, even if I'm laying down. They said that's not how you should meditate. But you know what? It's clearly working for me. So whatever.
Exactly. Thank you. I
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, if it's working for you, I'm gonna keep going. But anyway, so and I think that's the thing is people have to find what works for
Yeah.
them because for
Yeah.
other people that would be torture to have to lie down for a few more minutes but when they're ready to get up. But for me, I'm
Sure.
like, oh, I've done something. It's like exercising my brain for the day. But
Yeah.
anyway, this guided meditation always starts with a story or a lesson. It's almost like a mini therapy
Oh,
session every day.
nice.
It's really like it's actually a habit now because now even when I have to get up, I'm like, oh no, I got to do like
Hmm.
my arm immediately reaches for
Goes
like
for
my
yeah.
AirPods to like listen. But today it was on failure and the power of failure and how our culture does not only do they not value failure, but they call you a failure if you fail.
Hmm.
But instead of looking at fails as failing forward, right? Or just
Mhm.
real and I would say it's more what can you learn
Mhm.
from things that didn't go your way? And then how can you move forward? And that to me is the key lesson. And we are sort of taught that like grit. You need grit. You need to right? And that's great, but often they don't teach you how. And I
Yeah.
think the how is self-compassion.
Mm. Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
something didn't go your way, you did the best that you had with the information or tools that you had at the time, or maybe you didn't, and that's like, oh well, okay, I could have done that better. Or maybe you learned, maybe because it didn't go your way, then you learned something,
Yeah.
and then I don't know, you move forward.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we don't grow as people by being perfect all the time, right? Like it just
Yes.
doesn't exist. So we all fail, or we have let's stop saying fail. Let's call it suboptimum outcomes.
We're not perfect. We're just not
We're
perfect.
not perfect. But for all the times that I've had a result that I wasn't super happy with, I have grown from it. I mean,
Yes.
and what I try to limit is how long I beat myself up for.
Yes, that is exactly the key. That
Yeah.
you nailed it right there, and that is so
Like,
hard.
it is hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
I definitely am my worst critic. If people are being critical about me, they're doing it quietly. They might be, but it's it's mostly me who's hard on myself. And so, but I think a lot of us are like that.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and like really, this is interesting. I'm going to pull this out of my memory banks. When my daughter, the one I was mentioning, who did competitive dance, I mean, she was in a serious ballet program, and her wise ballet teacher, in one of their instructions told her, and this stuck with my daughter because she came home and told me it. She said, "People aren't looking at you. Like they're not looking at you the way you're looking at you.
Mm,
You know, have confidence when you go out there, because even if you do not something not perfect, most people aren't going to notice. Like it's not the other
yeah,
people that's judging you, it's you that's judging you." And so
so
I
interesting.
I was so glad she had that lesson at such a young age.
Yeah.
And from somebody other than me, because
Yes,
mothers can say
exactly.
things and it doesn't.
Doesn't
But it's
land.
really true. And I've heard
Yeah.
someone else say it in this way. They say, "What other people think of you is none of your business." I love that too,
Yeah.
by the way. But yeah,
That's
I
so
think that
hard.
we're
That is so hard, but it's true. My mom always used to say that. And I'm like, really?
it is true. It's really more about them than you,
Yeah.
right? But not to say that you shouldn't ignore it totally, obviously, especially if it's someone you care about, you want to
Yes.
um but yeah, going, back to it, I think we are our worst critics, and we should work on that. I'm trying.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, well, we live in a perfectionist society, and
Yeah.
sometimes, and this affects me and affects other people that I know even more, is there's this perfection paralysis. And you're
Mm.
like, well, if I can't do it, like you have this great idea and it's such a
Mm.
great idea that you can't even
Mm.
get started, or you'll
Mm.
know that it'll never measure up. So it's easier just not to start it.
Yeah.
Right. And so don't let, it's like, I, I went through a couple years. I think we talked about it earlier in one of the episodes, but I just read all these nonfiction books, like all these self-help books, and it really helped me like process so much. And one of them was, you've got this voice inside your head, right? That is like, oh, she can be mean. She's probably really mean. She's
Your
meaner than
super your
anyone.
super ego.
Yeah, or
Beating
your
you up.
whatever
Yes.
you want to call her, Bertha, whatever. I gave her a name at one point. And it's like you got to sit at the table, right? And it's like pretend you're in all these different yous are in a conference room. And this mean version of you is taking over. But there's another you that's like, but I really want to try this, or but what about this,
Mm.
And then there's the part of you that's like, it's time, right? Like there's all these different voices inside your head. You don't have to let that mean one or the overly critical.
Yeah.
She's afraid, and so if you can actually say, like, this was one of the skills that I learned. I understand you're afraid. I understand you're trying to protect me. Like maybe this is your inner child because you think you get yelled at or something. Like I hear you. It's okay, but you're not going to take over this meeting. And you let someone else. And it's like that to me is talking that's your wise self talking. To go back to episode whatever it was with
With Harper.
Harper on mental health, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like letting your wise self lead you, right? And
Yeah.
having so anyway, it's a work in progress. It's really hard. It's
It
really
is.
hard.
It is. It does seem to get easier as I get older, though, because,
Yes.
so many expectations do sort of fall away and I could focus more on what I want. And so that's good. That's a good thing about getting
And it's
older.
practice.
Yeah.
You're
And it's
literally
practice.
rewiring
Yeah.
your
And you know
brain.
yourself
You're
better. I've been living with
yeah.
this lady for a long time here.
I
So
know.
kind of know why I am the way I am.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Name it to tame it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Another
So,
interesting thing that I learned, I just found this fascinating, is if you were at a party with all your former selves, like you at age 7, you at age 13, whatever,
mm,
the best thing you can do is listen because
mm.
they can't learn anything from you, but you could learn a lot from them.
Oh, I like that.
And I'm
Yeah, I like
like,
that a
that
lot.
is so interesting. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Anyway, I guess I have this split personality because there's all kinds of Kathys in my head.
Well, the funny thing is that some people say they don't have voices in their head, and I don't understand that because my brain feels like chaotic sometimes. So I don't know, but some people
Never shuts
don't
off.
process that way, which is interesting to me.
I know. So a preview of what's to come in the coming year. We will be carrying on with our Matriarchy podcast. Our goal is, I think, every 2 weeks, right,
Yeah,
Lisa?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And we have lots of
Yeah.
great guests lined up. So yeah,
And we'll have other content as well. Um, But the teaser that I want to leave people with is that we are planning a special event. It looks like it'll be in April, but of course,
yeah,
there'll be more information on this. And we are going to we are going to host a Matriarchy Live podcast. We are going to
mhm,
have an author there who is going to be promoting her book about January 6th.
yeah.
Her name is Nora News. The book comes out on January 6th, the 5th year anniversary. Spoiler alert, she is my niece. But she's also super amazing. And I don't know, Lisa, I'll stop populating this with family members. I do
It's like
come
I
from
didn't know
such
I was going into business with the whole
the
Kathy
whole
Nixon
news.
family.
Yeah, the whole news clan out
The whole
there,
thing.
right? I guess we come from a big family.
Yes, and
What can I
you
say?
have a very interesting family. So
Well,
it's been yeah. So
well,
but
they've
yes,
enjoyed getting
Nora.
to know you too, as well.
I don't know if I'm as interesting. Um,
You are,
but
absolutely, you are.
we have already, actually, we will be releasing a podcast with her first,
Yep.
in a few weeks. And then we will have a live, like a book talk kind of thing, that podcast in April. So that is so exciting. And even without this latest book that she wrote, she's fascinating young woman. So it was really interesting to learn more about her, and I think you guys will like it too. So, all right. Well,
So we hope to see you there live and meet our little community in person.
yes, yes, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
in the meantime, this really has been a blessing in my life
It
this
has.
year. It made it into my Christmas card. I
Oh,
will
oh, I didn't
say.
even think. See, you're so good. Yeah.
I wish everyone listening to us has a joyful holiday season. I know it's not always the easiest on everyone this time of year, but I hope that you do find, joy in your community, whatever that community looks like.
Yeah. Me too. Um, And yes, it's been an interesting year, but for me, my highlight has been the matriarchy and some of my
Me
other
too.
projects, but also getting to know Kath more and being able to connect with you all. So thank you so much for listening and happy
Back at you,
holidays.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we wish this episode will come out right before a lot of kids go on break, and we just wish you all the best for a new year, and we're really excited about where the matriarchy is headed next year. So thanks for being on this journey with us.
Yes, thank you.
And don't forget to comment and like and all the things. Like, we want to keep growing our audience. If we have one um, if we have one wish from Santa, is that everyone in our audience would forward this episode to a couple friends.
Yes. Yeah.
That's on my that's the Christmas gift that you can give to us.
Yes. There you go. Thank you.
So let's grow the
So,
matriarchy.
once again, thank you for listening and welcome to the matriarchy.
Welcome to our community.